Is Catholicism relevant? Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by the word relevant. I can imagine two senses of this word. The first is that something is relevant if it offers useful advice or answers to practical questions and challenges. So if the question is, does Catholicism still offer practical advice to modern people about how to live or organize our lives, or how to make them more meaningful and satisfying, or how to accomplish or do more good with them, then I'd say yes, Catholicism is relevant. In fact, I'd argue that nothing could be more relevant. Catholicism offers sort of ground level practical advice about what to do with your time, your money, your body, your relationships, your family, your work, your community, your earth, your mind, about medicine and law and government, and on and on and on. It speaks to everything from how you should go to sleep and how you wake up, how you do your work, how to treat the people around you, about sex and environmental sustainability, about birth and death and war and peace, and how to raise your kids or treat your employees, or what to do with your grandmother when she's sick and dying. And it offers all of this through the world's biggest and oldest archive of literature and communications and education, and in every language for people of every education level and age. And all of this advice, all of this guidance is illustrated with real life examples of men and women and children from every conceivable walk of life, every race, every language, every nation across the globe over thousands of years. And it offers practical help in the way of structures and programs and events and institutions and facilities and helping organizations in every nation and every state and every province and virtually every community across the planet. And it has this global army of customer service representatives, from priests to nuns to religious brothers to teachers to artists to engineers to technologists to service organizations. I mean, you name it. And not only is Catholicism full of all this practical help, it's rooted in sort of bigger principles that are understandable, and they're able to be generalized and applied in every profession and academic field. And all of this is sort of anchored in these deep narratives about the origin and nature of the universe that some of the brightest minds who have ever lived have found credible and rational. Catholicism offers a reasonable answers to the questions asked in every religion, in every worldview, and in every system of thought. So you tell me, how is Catholicism not relevant to the concerns and challenges of modern life? The real issue is not that Catholicism doesn't offer answers, but that we don't like the answers it offers. And that brings me to the second sense of the word relevant. Does it align with the answers and aspirations of our culture? So does it contradict the leaders of our institutions, or does it seem foolish to our social influencers today? So if the question is, does Catholicism no longer align with what our leaders or our influencers or the crowd is telling us? Well, then yes. But then I have two questions as a follow-up. The first is this: what does that have to do with whether the answers it offers are true? I mean, what if our leaders are wrong? What if our social influencers are giving us terrible advice about how to live? I mean, we can all think of times when a culture went crazy or a nation in history kind of went off in the wrong direction. But we don't have to be herd animals. We can question authority. We can think for ourselves. We can listen to other voices, even voices from the past. And maybe, just maybe, Catholicism is a voice of sanity in a world gone mad. My second question is this: when has Christianity been relevant to the surrounding culture? I mean, maybe in a few times or places over the last 2,000 years, for a moment, maybe. But you go back to the earliest Christians. The earliest Christians were irrelevant because they valued, in the Roman Empire, they valued women in marriage. They rejected an economy built on slavery and worship of the empire. And they didn't spend their afternoons watching prisoners get butchered in an arena for entertainment. The early Christians were gloriously irrelevant to their culture, but they were right. What if I told you that this is how it was actually supposed to be by design? I mean, from the beginning, following Jesus Christ has always been a countercultural project. It was, as St. Paul said, always foolishness to the wise of the world. Christianity, Catholicism, is a life spent willingly following a king who died with other men's spit in his beard. Catholicism is irrelevant to anyone who's content with the world the way it is. But it's most relevant. It's the most relevant way of life available to anyone who wants to radically change the world from the inside out. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, are you content with the way things are?